right, welcome back to QuickBooks Chapter 9. We're going to be looking at how we can use time to be able to bill your customers. Okay, so again, especially when you have things that, for example, are products and services, right? Since we have service, right, that is going to be considered some kind of time that we can choose to bill our customers for. All right, so this whole entire chapter is also going to take a look into what job costing does and how you are able to take the job costing and forward a bill to that customer to pay for those expenses. So this is how we can use job costing to transfer over and make it an option to bill your customer for. All right. So if you're following along with me, you need to have time billing 21 file open. Okay. And let's dive right into the very first section here, which is going to talk about reimbursable expenses. Okay. So as we were talking about how expenses arise, right? Sometimes you may have to incur an expense for a particular customer because of what they ask of you, okay? It may not be convenient for them, and you might have to give an option to them, such as, for example, you can mail out a contract, right, and have it shipped to you, right? So for that reason of having the option to be able to deliver a contract instead of have them come into the office and sign it, that's a price that we may have to pay in advance, and then we can forward the bill to the customer to charge for that inconvenience, right? Because if they need it available to them through mail because they're too busy to come in, then that's going to be an expense or a cost that the customer must be willing to accept and be willing to be billed for. Okay, so we call these reimbursable expense because on our end we have to pay for that expense ahead of time, and then what we do is we turn it around and make the customer pay me back, right, as well as a little profit for paying for that expense ahead of time. So in this case, we're going to take a look at the very first one. It's going to be how a reimbursable expense can work, what categories or what type of accounts can be considered a reimbursable expense, and what accounts are linked to it. So in this case, right, pretty straightforward. You have the title in there, expense. So that means it can involve a cost of goods sold, right? You can forward a cost of goods sold or reimburse a cost of goods sold, right? You also have other things like other expenses and just regular general expenses, or you can even link them to current assets, okay? Or other expenses. So once again, these things are linked to these specific accounts because a reimbursable expense is either you gain something or you end up spending something and just getting paid back for it. All right. Now, in this case, here's something that you have to know as well, is that when you do create a reimbursable expense, it must be linked to like a reimbursable expense account, right? We just said that. However, you cannot generate income off of it. Okay, so very strange. You can't link it to an income account. It's very, very, very strange because we just mentioned that we would, pay for something, an expense in advance, and have the customer just pay for it plus a little profit. Yes, we see that as income, right? But in this case, what we can't do is we can't reimburse for income. Does that make sense? You can't pay for somebody and expect the customer to pay you back to earn that income. That makes no sense in general. Think about it. If a customer owes you money, are you going to pay for the customer? and then have the customer pay you back. No. So that's what I mean by you when you're creating these reimbursable expenses, right? You cannot pay for or you cannot create a reimbursable for income, right? Just exactly what I just mentioned with that example right there, okay? It makes no sense, right? If the customer doesn't want to pay, then you reverse it and charge them as a bad debt or whatever that we discussed earlier in the chapter, okay? But you cannot link it to an income account. So you cannot pay for things that a customer is supposed to be paying for to generate income, okay? So basically, you can't pay for their invoices for them, right? It defeats the purpose of making a profit because you're not generating the real income. It's coming out of your own pocket. So, anyways, so let's take a look at an example of or first we have to set up the reimbursable income first. And we also have to make sure that we turn on the preferences because that's going to be something that we want to ensure that it populates on our forms, okay? So if you for example, right, if I go ahead and wrong one. If I were to go ahead and say I received a bill, right? And I want to pass this bill along. I want to make sure that I have this section right here where it says billable and I have the customer job on. Okay, this is important because if you don't have this on, right, then this chapter is not going to be very, very useful to you, okay? So we have to toggle this section on in order for you to be able to pass those bills along to your customer. So let's go ahead and figure out how we can turn that on. So you're going to go to your edit preferences. So it is a preference because not all companies, right? You may not ever incur a bill that you want to just pass over to your customers, right? The purpose of you buying your items is essentially sell them. But if a customer is asking you to buy it for them, they're asking you to pay for the items and then they reimburse you, right? So that's a great example of how you're able to be able to use the reimbursable and be able to bill them for that because they custom ordered from you. They wanted a product and they're using you as a middleman to get the product that they want. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and look up jobs and estimates and go to the company settings. And here, what are we going to take a look at? So here, we want to ensure that the job field is on, right? But we also want to make sure that when we come down here under time and expenses, right? We want to toggle on the company preferences to see, right? Do we keep track of time? Yes, we do. All right. And then, of course, do you want to mark all times entries as billable? Yes. And when you check mark this, that's where that billable form pops up. And then, of course, invoice options, okay? Are we going to create an invoice from all the list of times and expenses? That's optional to you. Are you going to track reimbursable expenses as income, right? And of course, yes. And of course, we're going to mark all expenses billable. For this sake of this chapter, yes. Okay? And then it says right here, default markup percentage is going to be 20%. We'll talk about what this means and what is the default account for this. So in this case, it's simple. You should have a markup account for this one. Now, in this case, we're just setting this section up. When we actually get to this section where you can mark up your prices, this is where this portion is going to come into play. But the most important thing is, do you keep track of time? Yes. Do you want these items to be billable? Yes. Do I want to create an invoice from the list of time and expenses? Let me see. I think we do click yes for this one. Let's see. Actually, well, let me uncheck that. So I guess we don't have to. Oop, wrong one. There. All right, so then we're going to go ahead and save and close. So that's how you turn it on. So making sure that section does appear. So again, what section am I talking about? It's this section that's right next to customer/job, right? Right here's a billable section. And as you can see, if I put my mouse on there, it's going to have a check mark icon. So again, when we said that we're going to mark all of our billable expenses as billable, that means this mark is going to automatically check mark as soon as you enter in the customer that you're sending or you're passing the bill along to. Okay? So we'll close this out for a second and see what our very first expense that we're going to encounter, right? So in this case, we have a customer who wants to get a contract from us, and they want us to deliver the documents to them so then they can sign it. Okay, so what am I going to do? I'm going to go ahead and write a check. Okay, and then I'm going to use we're going to use the express delivery services. Okay, so here you go. Write a checks. We are going to use express delivery services. Okay, and what are we doing? We are going to do a document delivery. All right, so in this case, what is the item that I'm going to be using? I'm going to use, this is going to be under postage and delivery. Okay, now in this case, right, this is where if I were to click on this account is not linked to a reimbursable account. This is something that if I were to go to charge this, it's going to be considered a regular expense. So if I were to go ahead and proceed with this, then this is where I'm incurring this expense on my behalf. Okay, on my behalf of the company, meaning I accept these charges. This is the cost of doing business. So I need to stop here because I need to go and make sure that if this is going to be used for me to use as a reimbursable expense, I need to tag another account to this account. So how do I do that? So I'm going to go to my chart of accounts and I'm going to go to postage and stamps expense. Okay, so postage and postage and delivery. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and edit this this account. So right here, this is where it says track reimbursable expense as income account. Yes, I need to turn this on. So then when I do use this postage and delivery, now it's going to act as if this is a charge that I'm going to get reimbursed for. So you have to activate it before going on forth, because if not, it's just a regular expense that you assume for the company. All right, and what was the income account? It's going to be reimbursable expenses. So reimbursable expense income. Okay. And once I have that set, then I can go ahead and save and close. Okay. So now, every time I use that postage and delivery, it will automatically assume that it's going to be placed into the reimbursable expenses. And then when the customer pays me back, then I get that expense reimbursed and I get a little profit out of it. So that's important that you do that first. And then now I can go ahead and proceed to continue to write my check. So again, express delivery. Okay, what am I doing? A document delivery. Okay, all right, and then of course, what account am I now going to be putting in here? This is where I'm going to use the postage and delivery. Okay, So therefore, I have to link that. So that when I write the check, the expense is to postage and delivery. And how much is it going to cost me? It's going to cost me $20. What is the memo? This is a document delivery. Okay, let me see. And then who is the specific person that I am delivering this contract to? Okay. In this case, this is where I'm going to use the job costing to assign the person. So in this case, I am actually sending this to Miss Miranda's Corner. So I'm going to drag over here so you can kind of see it a little better. Okay. So here, I'm going to link this charge to Miranda's Corner. Okay. So the minute I go ahead and type in her name in the customer/job, automatically it's going to make it billable. So what this does is when I link a customer to this particular expense, right, which is the reimbursable expense, I'm going to pass this bill along to Miss Miranda's Corner. Okay. And let's see which, I think she belongs to the Walnut Creek location. Let's see. Okay, so again, Walnut Creek for Miranda. Okay, so once everything looks good, right, you can print this later, so you don't have to have that date. Oh, and the date, whatever date that you want to, again, dates are very relative, but in this case, if it's important to keep track of the date, it's going to be February 3rd. Okay, so February 3rd, okay, for $20. Okay, and I go ahead and click Save and Close. Okay, so I had to write a check to Express Delivery Services, right? I paid to ship out this document to Miranda, okay? So how do I go ahead and pass that bill along to Miss Miranda? Well, this is very easy. I go ahead and bill her. I go ahead and say, well, I'm going to start creating an invoice for Miss Miranda's Corner, right? And the minute I type her name in, I'm going to get a window that says, hey, this is the billable time cost window, okay? And it says that, hey, you have a bill or an expense or a cost that assigned to Miss Miranda's Corner, right? We assigned the job/customer/job to her, right? And it says here, do you want to select the outstanding billable items, or do you want to just do not do it and then just go ahead and continue on with this invoice? So in this case, yes, I do want to select the items, and I click OK. So once I do that, now my billable time/cost window expands to 4 categories, right? You have one for time, one for expenses, one for mileage, and one for items. So in this case, right, if you notice this, we have one expense, right, which we incurred when we wrote that postage stamp, right, or that postage and delivery service, right? That was an expense, and I forward this to Miss Miranda Corner. So then look here. Now it shows right here that here it is, right? Here is the document here. Now notice this. It says that how much do I want to mark her up for? In this case, because it was out of my convenience, I had to go through a third-party vendor just to send out a document to Miss Miranda's Corner. I'm going to upcharge her 20%. So that means I'm going to mark up her price 20%. All right, and then right here, right, as you can see, it's already filled in for you. It's because we set that up in the preferences. So that's why I did that first, but in this case, it really depends, right? What is your what is the amount that you're planning to upcharge your customers, right? And that could be, if it's a different percentage every single time, then that is something that you don't need to set up in the preferences, right? Because it's a variable percentage. However, the markup account should be the markup account. It has to be a separated generated income because you are getting income from a markup. Okay. Now, once you've done that and you selected this, now notice this. It's $20 plus the 20% markup is going to bring it up to $24. Okay, so that means the total amount that's going to be there is going to be $24 opposed to $20 that we originally paid for. So that means we earned a $4 profit for the convenience of having to go through a third-party vendor to deliver this document to her. And here's one thing that you should do. It says right here, print selected time and costs on one invoice item. What does this mean? So if I were to print this out, it's going to tell me that I had a document delivery, right? And then if I don't select this, it's going to show that I marked her up 20%, right? It will tell Miranda that it cost me $20 and I upcharged her for 20% for the $4, and that's why her total is $24. If you do this, right, and you say you want to combine all the items into one item, then all you're really seeing is just the document delivery expense, and it was charged for $24. So in this case, you definitely want to have this because you don't want to tell your customers that you're upcharging them. You want to tell your customers it's a flat rate, right? But they don't know what the price includes, so you definitely want to hide that information, okay? And then again, select expense as taxable. Is this expense taxable? The original cost did not charge me because it was a service, right? It was me shipping things out, right? Shipping usually never is taxed on. So in this case, no expenses are taxable. So I can go ahead and click OK. So once I do that, now on my end, this is what I see, okay? But when I print this out, I won't see this markup, okay? So there you go. You have it here. You got the $20 documentation fee. You got the 20% upcharge. So now Miss Miranda's Corner owes you $24, okay? And what's the memo on here, right? Or first off message, thank you for your business, memo, document, delivery charge, okay? So you're charging your customer for shipping out a contract, right? But she doesn't know that you upcharged her, okay? So that's what you want to do. And when everything looks good, right, it's not taxable because it's a service, right? Then you can go ahead and proceed to enter in this bill, okay? For any reason that you want to see the print preview, let me see if I can preview this. Print preview. So on, let's see, QuickBooks lets you print. Okay. So here's the preview. Now, as if I've mentioned before, right, it's all lined up into one line. So here you go, 24%, no tax. And that's what I mean, right? All it says right here is total reimbursable expenses is just $24. They don't tell you that I upcharged her. That's what you want to do when you select that. Hide all the information into one line. Okay? And I'm going to close this, okay? So that's how you do a reimbursable expense. All right, any questions?
All good.
Okay. Awesome. Right? So that's just one way that we're able to use the job costing, right? In this case, right, we saw 4 categories, right? We saw time, expense, mileage, and items. Guess what this entire chapter we're going to be doing? We're going to go through all 4 tabs. So let's take a look at what two-sided items are. So if you remember from yesterday's lesson, I did talk about what a two-sided item does. A two-sided item allows you to link your income and expenses, or it also allows you to link up to more than one account. But most commonly, it's linked from an income to an expense account. Okay. Now, again, a two-sided item, again, basically has, if you deal with one transaction, it's flexible enough to be used in multiple locations. So, for example, right, we talked about the inventory part, right? It's linked to an income because when you sell the product, you generate income. But it's also related to an expense because you had to purchase those items in order for you to have those items to sell. So what did that do? It was a cost that I had to pay in advance in order to generate that income. So that's why most commonly two-sided items usually are in relations to income and expenses, but you can the idea is that it's two-sided for a reason because it links to multiple different accounts. So it doesn't have to necessarily be income expenses, which is one of the common ones, but it can be linked to an asset account and it can be linked to an income account. Okay. So what can two-sided items be used for? Well, let's take a look here. Reimbursable expenses. We just took a look at the first one, right? That was a reimbursable expense where we used an item as we used the postage item, right? And we billed it over to my customer. Okay. We can also look at in this case, we can have retail item profitability. You can do it for custom orders, okay? And you can also use it for subcontractor labor as well, okay? So again, our first example, we already took a look at how to do a reimbursable expense, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at another common one. So let's do custom orders because this one is a very clear, vision of how this would apply to you, okay, as a business, okay? So if you take custom orders, right, a customer comes up to you and says they want something from you. They want to use you as a middleman to buy a product for them, and they will pay for it. If that's the case, then that's going to be a custom order that you're going to be doing. So let's go ahead and we're going to check to make sure that we have this item. If not, then we have to create it. We're going to do a custom order, okay? And what this person wants is they want a custom camera, okay? Or let me see. So we're going to do a custom order. We're going to do a new inventory part. We're going to do custom camera. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So we need to create that item first so then we can go ahead and build our custom order. So first things first, right? We took a look at this yesterday. We're going to go down to our items list and we're going to create new, right? We're going to be creating a new inventory part. It could be a non-inventory part just because, again, a custom order isn't something that we necessarily have to keep track of because, again, what is the likelihood of someone to also get another custom order? So it doesn't really matter whether it is an inventory part or non-inventory part. However, your book says it is, we're going to be doing an inventory part. Okay. So what is going to be the item name? It's going to be a custom camera, right? So then that means it's a customizable camera. Okay, so customizable camera. Okay. And then let's see. We can link it to a cost account. We can also link it to a sales account. And this one also has a third one. So again, this one can also link it to a inventory account, which is an asset. So you have income, expense, and asset. Okay? So obviously straightforward, right? How much is it going to cost you? Well, we don't know what that custom camera is going to cost me, right? Because we don't know what what the customer wants. So in this case, we're going to leave it at 0, okay? And of course, it's going to be designated to the cost of goods sold and who is my go-to vendor for this. In this case, you can also leave this blank because what if this custom camera, right? You have to go through multiple vendors just to get that specific camera that the customer wants. Then you might not have a designated person or a designated vendor to get your cameras from. Okay, so you can also leave that blank if you want to. Okay. All right. So then the next one here is going to be what is the sales price that you're going to charge? In this case, we are going to link the income to sales, okay? And in this case, we also are going to leave the sales price at 0 just because, once again, if I don't know how much it's going to cost me, I don't want to sell them for under or less, right? Because we can always make changes to the sales price on the actual sales form itself. So in this case, we don't know how much it's going to cost me, so therefore I don't know what I'm going to be charging. And of course, I'm going to 100% tax them because it's a custom camera. It's an actual product. And what am I going to link this account to? Sales. Okay? And again, inventory part, do we have a maximum or a minimum? You can ignore this part. So everything looks good, so I'm going to go ahead and click OK. So now I have a custom camera account or a custom camera item, all right? So now I need to go to my purchase orders because I'm going to go ahead and let's say Miss Maria Cruz decided to come in and start looking for a camera that she wants me to custom order. So she told me, hey, I want this camera. Go ahead and order it for me and I'll pay whatever price, right? So in this case, let's say, who am I going to be ordering this from? I'm going to go order this from Ace Supply, okay? And where is this for? Maria is from San Jose, okay? And what item am I going to purchase? In this case, I type in custom camera, okay? And of course, when I put that in, all the information says that it's $0 because I don't know what Maria is going to choose, right? I have to go ahead and make changes to this. So then right here for the description, it is a custom camera, but what kind of camera did she get? She wanted to order the custom camera Nikon D800 digital SLR camera. Okay, so in this case, custom camera, I'm going to take this out and just put in the Nikon D800 digital SLR camera, right? Very nice camera, okay? And let's say we know how much it's going to cost me. It's going to cost me $1,100, okay? And she just wants one camera, okay? And it's going to cost me $1,100, okay? So then here it'll tell me, hey, you just made a change to this. No, I don't want to save it. I want to keep it at 0 because, again, every different camera is going to have a different cost point to it. So I don't want to save that in my items list. I want to keep it at 0. So I click no. Don't say that change. So then now, what's the next thing I have to do? Let's see, the amount is going to be $1,100. And look, you have the customer that you can designate to go ahead and build this custom order for. So in this case, who is going to be in this spot here? It's going to be Miss Maria Cruz. Okay, and she got this for her branch opening. So I could go ahead and type Maria Cruz, or I can also refer it to her branch opening. Okay, so there you go. I don't have the billable option here because this is my purchase order to my vendor. Okay, once I receive the bill, then I can go ahead and pass that bill along to Maria. But right now, this is just me sending in a purchase order. This has nothing to do with my bill yet. But it does tell me that at the end of the day, when you do put this purchase order, it is a custom purchase order for a particular client. So again, memo, you could put whatever you want in here, but this is your notes that you're going to be sending to your vendor. So in this case, I am done here, so I can save and close. Okay, date's the same. We're doing on February 3rd. The order number, it doesn't really matter. Okay. So then now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and receive the item, and now it came with the bill. So then, what was it for? It was from Ace Supply. You have a purchase order involved, and that's correct. So I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to bring it down. So now it tells me this is the price of the camera. Okay, and let's see what else. What else do I need to do here? So I received the bill. I can add a postage stamp because in this case, right, I could, I'm also going to have Maria also reimburse me because I'm going to be shipping this camera out to her store location. Okay? So in this case, what I can do is I can add a postage and delivery charge right here on to the actual invoice itself, or I could put it on her invoice when I choose to do that as well. But in this case, right now, this is what the bill says, so I'm okay. I'm gonna add the postage delivery for $18.95. So this is something I can tack on here because they sent me the bill saying this is also for the delivery fee as well. Okay, so I put in, so I'm under items, right? I need to be under expenses, right? Because postage is an account. So here I put in, I had to click over, so items was my custom camera, and then the expense that came along with it was I got charged for shipping fees, okay? And how much did I get charged? I got charged $18.95. Okay. Now it is up to you if you want to pass that along. You can if you like. Again, you have the choice here, but in this case, I'm already going to make it billable to Miss Maria Cruz. So let's take a look here for just the item. And what I'm going to do is this postage is going to be included into the price. So you can, if you want to, have it like it's a secondary expense that she has to pay as well. But in this case, I can just forward her the camera and just include it into the price and just upcharge her that way. Okay, so in this case, I'm only going to send the bill along to her for just the custom camera. And as you can see, Maria Cruz is here. It's going to be billed to her. Okay, so once everything looks good, now notice this. This vendor gave us an advantage to pay for this camera and also take an additional 2% discount. Okay, do I have to wait till Maria pays me first? No. Even though it is considered a reimbursable expense, if I don't have to wait till Maria to pay me whatever she's going to pay me, because at the end of the day, if I want to take advantage of this discount and possibly pay for the camera for significantly lower, I can do that, and Maria doesn't have to know. So in this case, do I have to wait for Maria to reimburse me and pay me? No. I can pay for the camera myself, take advantage of the discount, and then have Maria pay for whatever upcharge I paid her, and I get to take a more of a profit if I get to take the discount off the camera. So in this case, right, the reimbursable doesn't matter as long as the customer that you purchased the item for is paying you back. They paid you back, but you can take more as an advantage over the deals that you could get with your vendor. Okay, so once everything looks good, I'm gonna save and close. Okay, and then now I'm gonna go ahead and bill Miss Maria Cruz. So again, Maria Cruz, there she is, branch opening, and boom, I get this billable window. And I said select the item, so I click OK. So now, remember, I didn't charge the postage fees to Maria. So that's why in this case I don't have that expense. But if I were to, then it would populate right here. But in this case, what I'm doing here is I'm just charging her for just the camera. Okay? So in this case, the camera that we bought was a custom camera, which was an item. So here, if you look at all the little sections, we have one item available. And I'm going to go ahead and click this. Now notice this. It is at $1,100. Okay? That's completely fine. We will mark it up on the actual form itself. So again, print selected time and cost as one line. Yes. Click OK. So there you go. Now it's populated that I'm going to be billing Miss Maria Cruz, right, for the custom camera. Now, how do I upcharge her here? Well, if I want to make it hidden, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the quick math feature here on my invoice right here, right? So in this case, I could go ahead and make a change right here. So right now, the price of this is $1,100, right? I can click here and I'm going to enter in, right? So what is it? 1,100 times, right? 1.20. So that's 1 plus the 20% markup. So in this case, if I click on if I click tab or click enter here, now I'm going to upcharge her for $1,320. Okay? And it says, okay, do you want to okay, and I just click okay. So here, that's me just charging her for just the camera. But what if I do want to go ahead and also have her pay for the postage expense, postage delivery as well? It was $18.95, right? If I want to include that, I can just go ahead and include it here, so then it doesn't show that she had to pay for shipping. But if you want that to be very clear into the invoice, then all you have to do really is just go back to that billable form and mark it billable, so then you can go ahead and upcharge that person. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and close this out. I'm not going to save it yet. And I'm going to go back to that bill so I can go ahead and upcharge her for also including the shipping cost as well. So in this case, I go back to here, right? So I got, okay, so this is, I have to go to the actual bill itself. So I'm going to click here, click on a supply. So here you go. Here's the bill. Now, in this case, right, I owe 11/11/18, right? I'm going to go ahead and click here and I'm going to mark it. So then that means I can also upcharge her for for this as well. So there you go. I have it billable and I'm going to hit save and close. And yes, I do want to save my changes. So then if you do, so then when you go to your invoice, right? And let's go ahead and do that again. Maria Cruz, branch opening. Then I get selected items, and now this time I have one expense and I have one item for the camera, and I'm gonna print them. Okay, so make sure both of them says print, and I click OK. So here now, I am giving her the camera, and I'm separately charging her for the shipping. And if that's what I want my customer to see, then that's how you do it. Okay. Now again, just exactly by just doing that one thing, entering in the name under the customer job allows you to choose. Are you going to bill your customer? Are you going to pass this bill along to them? And in this case, you can choose which bills that you want to fast to forward over, or you could choose not to. Okay, so that's what I just showed you right now is I showed you that if you wanted to, all you have to do is just type in the name and make sure that box says billable, and there you have it. It's going to be placed on that billable windows, and you select it. So here you go. So we're gonna redo it again, right? So here's the $18 charge here, right, for the service, right? We got upcharged that by 20%, so that increased it by $3, okay? And then the camera, right, was $1,100, but we're gonna upcharge her by 20% to make it $1,320. So then now overall, she's gonna owe me a grand total of $1,451. Okay. Again, thank you for your service. And then, of course, what's the memo? It is a custom camera with delivery charges. Okay. And once everything looks good, okay, the item is taxed already. So now you have a grand total of $1,451 and so on and so forth, okay? Any questions in regards to passing a bill along for a custom order? No? Your markup value is up to your discretion, okay? It really doesn't matter. If you want to upcharge your 20%, if your company is known for its quality and its, excellence in service, then be my guest and charge them up to 100%. Charge them up 50%. Whatever your markup is, right? Because they just purchased a camera from you, right? How much work are you going to decide the how much labor does this person deserve to pay you for? So in this case, if you don't want 20%, you can charge them. You could charge them 50% if you want. Okay, you could upcharge them 50%. You could charge them 25%, 75%. You can choose whatever markup value you want to have. So in this case, there you go. That camera is now $1,650 plus the upcharge for the shipping. So now her bill just went up $400 from $1,451 now to $1,800. Right? It is up to your discretion and what you feel most comfortable for charging your customer. But once again, if your customer is getting a quote from you, that means you can't just upcharge them randomly. They have to agree to what you're charging them before you go ahead and submit that purchase order, okay? So again, that is it here. Okay? Yes.
So for some reason, my custom camera bill didn't carry over to the invoice to Miss Maria.
Did you check mark it as billable?
Yes. Oh, I think I know why. Never mind. I was picking the wrong customer.
Okay.
But
Uh,
if we needed to manually add it,
mhm.
can we just manually add it?
Yes, you can. So if, let's say, for instance, right, I type in Maria Cruz, okay? Now, if you manually add it, then there's no purpose of you using that job costing window, okay? So for example, let's say right here, I typed in Maria Cruz, no window popped up, right? So what you can do is at the very top of this window, you do have the option to, where is it? To add time. So if I click on here, then that's where the windows are going to appear. But you have to select the bills and assign it to that customer for it to pop up in this window. Okay?
Okay.
So that's important, is that step must happen. You must assign it to that person and check mark that it's going to be billable for you to have the options to choose from on your list.
Okay.
Okay? But if you don't see this window pop up when you know you already marked that it is billable to them, then you're gonna have to go up to the window and click on add time and billing, or to add time and cost, and then it will pop up this window here.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
And for any reason, let's say, okay, so I already passed the bill along to her, right? For if I'll talk about this again later on, but what happens if you want to rebill her again? Maybe she lost her invoice. I don't know. For some reason, we need to reissue her one. Yes, you can make the bills billable again, right? Very simple. All you do is go back to that bill and just recheck mark it, and it will populate on this window again. Okay? I'll show you an example for later on, okay? But yes, that is what you can do for that. So no, I don't need to save this transaction. Okay, let's see. So any questions in regards to a custom order? Okay. So another one, right? I'm going to show you one more example of what you can do, especially when it comes to using a two-sided item for a subcontractor labor. Okay. For any reason that you have a third party vendor or a 1099 worker doing the job, yes, you can assign your customers to have those third party vendors, 1099 workers do the job for you. Okay? Now, most cases, right, when we have a 1099 worker, we have to pay them based on what our contractual agreements are. So, by doing so, right, because we're getting paid, we're paying those 1099 workers to work for us, right? A better way to ensure that this 1099 worker did in fact complete the job is have the customer pay you so you can pay them. Okay? So, how do I do that? Well, first off, let's go ahead and first enter in. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna be entering in the bill. But first off, we got to make sure that our item is going to be linked to my third party vendor. So first off, I'm gonna go ahead and go to items and list. What we're talking about is if we outsource our photographers, okay? So photographers, right? If I'm going to edit this account or this item. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to link this account. So as you can see, cost here, they cost $75 on my end, but I upcharge my customers $125. So I'm already getting a profit here. Now, how do I assign the vendor? So in this case, who is the person that I am using to be my 1099 workers, who are my photographers? So in this case, I have East Bay Photographers. Okay, they are a group that I contract to be able to provide all the photo sessions for me. So they work for me, but they don't work under me. I use them as a 1099 contractor to do some jobs for me. Okay? So once I link them in here, then I can go ahead and click Save OK. So now that I have that linked to that, now I'm going to enter in a bill and say, let's say East Bay Photographers, they are going to say, hey, we completed a job for you, right? So we're going to bill you now, okay? So first, what is the account that they're going to bill me for? In this case, we're going to switch on over and go to items, okay? Because the reason why they're billing me is because they had photographers who worked my job, okay? So photographer, okay? That's the item here. How many photographers did they have working the job, and how much are they going to be billing me for? Okay. So in this case, we're going to be entering a bill, East Bay photographers. Okay, so the first one is going to be they had 6 of them for the Maria Cruz branch opening, which was a Walnut Creek. Okay, so in this case, we had 6 photographers. Okay, and we're gonna assign this to Maria Cruz branch opening. And right here, it automatically populated that we're going to send her the bill for these photographers. Okay. What class does she belong to? I said San Jose. So let's be consistent. It's San Jose. Okay. But I also got another bill for another set of photographers. So in this case, photographers. So if you have multiple photographers for multiple customers, your best bet to do is separate them so you can bill each customer separately. Okay? So in this case, right, not only did we have 6 photographers for Miss Maria Cruz, we also had 15 photographers for Mr. Bob Mason. Okay, so again, and I chose it to be billable. So in this case, right, we got billed for a total of 21 photographers, right? 6 of them went to Maria Cruz, 15 went to Mr. Bob Mason. So again, to make it billable to multiple customers, list out those exact items. So if I have a third one, then go ahead, you're just going to do another one, and let's say it's for Miranda's Corner, right? You should separate them, because if you're going to be billing them, only bill them for what they took from you or what they got from you. Okay, so in this case, Bob got 15 photographers, Maria got 6. So once everything looks good, right, and Bob is from San Jose, everything looks good. Date, again, all of this is relative, but I'm going to keep it at February 3rd. That's fine. Invoice number, right, it's going to be whatever bill that you received it from. So in this case, everything looks good, so I can save and close. So once again, let's take a look. When I enter in this bill, right, and I'm going to pass it along to an invoice, right, I'm going to go ahead and bill once again Miss Maria Cruz. Okay. So I just got a bill from the vendor, right, and I'm going to now charge or pass the bill along to Miss Maria Cruz branch opening, right, and have her cover not only my 1099 workers, but also get a little profit out of it. So if you remember, right, so here we have items. There you go. We got 6 photographers here. Hide all that information and click OK. So here, I already upcharged her. I upcharged her to pay me $125 per photographer, even though it cost me only $75 per photographer, right? So in this case, I already upcharged her from my sales price in the item when I said each item is going to cost me this, right? Or yeah, each item's going to cost me this, but what am I going to set the sales price for? I already upcharged her, right? So in this case, all I got to do is say thank you, okay? Thank you for your business, all right? And then, of course, what is this for? I'm going to say 6 photographers, okay? And once everything looks good, I can save and close, okay? Done. So that's how I use the 1099 worker ASA. So then now when Miss Maria Cruz does pay me, right? Essentially that money is to cover what I paid for my 1099 workers plus a little more. Okay? But again, for me though, because I got that bill from East Bay Photographers, right? I also have that ability to pay whenever I want to pay. I do not need to wait for Maria to reimburse me so I can make a payment to my 1099 workers, right? Because my 1099 workers are not going to wait on me to pay for them, or wait for Maria to pay for me to pay them. They are contractors, meaning that whatever agreement that we say, whatever job that they complete, I have to pay them within a certain amount of time. Okay, so in this case, whatever bill that they gave me, I have the X amount of dates to pay them, so I cannot rely on Maria to pay me first. So I just have to pay that and have it reimbursed to me. Okay. All right, so that was using two-sided items. Okay, any questions there? No questions? Okay. Right? So we got to take a look at two segments, right? We got to see a look at expenses, and then we got to also see items. So that's covering two sections or two tabs on that billable section. So the next one is going to be time. Yes, you can also bill your customers based on time. So this one's more so for, let's say, for example, right? The customer doesn't want just anybody to do the job. They want a particular person to do the job, right? If they want a particular person to do the job, then that means the job's going to be on their time, not on anybody else's time, because they want that person to do the job. Okay? We can say to them, "Hey, do you care? We could just send you a bunch of photographers over there." No, I want this person to work the job. Then that's where you can bill your customer based on that person's time. Okay? So let's go ahead and take a look at how we can do this. So we've already taken a look at this, right? If you chose and set up, yes.
So it would be a good idea if say that like a primary photographer, their charge is more than the other photographer, we can use this. Like I know some of the Photoshop, they charge more if the owner is coming to take the picture than the photographer who works under.
Yes and no. But now here, if the customer wants the owner to take the pictures, because again, every person takes pictures differently, right? Everyone because they all have different end results, right? If someone really likes the way that this person takes a picture, then yes. But then that job, right?
Yeah.
Gets transferred onto their time.
Okay.
It's because they want this person to do the job, not because it's the owner or this person, right? It's because the customer wants that person to do it.
Yeah.
So that's the fine line there. Is if the customer doesn't care, then you leave the price at whatever it is. You give them whoever is available to do the job.
Okay.
So again, billable time. Now, billable time is not just only strictly used for that as for jobs, right? This billable time can also be used Well, in this section here, I'm showing you how you can use time to bill your customers, but you can also use this timesheet for also well, you can't bill your company if you work for your company. So in this case, that's not what I'm trying to say, but you can use the enter times window to build like a timesheet to log in your hours. Okay, it just depends. We'll talk about it in a few seconds here. Okay, so first off, we need to activate time tracking, right? We've already done that by going through the preferences, right? We selected the edit menu and we clicked on time and estimates and we got to this window and the question was, do you keep track of time? If you select yes, then this section in your homepage is going to pop up. This enter times section right here. Now, if you choose not to have it, then no, you won't be able to have this. You won't be able to enter in a timesheet for those individuals and you won't be able to bill them. So as you can see here, the enter times is also pointing upwards to the invoice because you can use time to pass it along to someone to pay you for that time. Okay? So therefore, let's go ahead and take a look here. All right? So if I click on enter time, I have two options, right? Or three options. I have either to activate QuickBooks time, which we're not going to do. We can use a weekly time sheet, or we can enter in times for one single activity per day. Now, the best way to do this is to look at an overview for the week, right? Obviously. Okay, so that would be the best view to do is you're going to use the weekly time. Now, in this case, right, this is what it should look like. You're going to have a column to be able to put in all your information and how many hours that person has clocked in. All right, but this isn't the only way you're able to enter it in too, right? And this is where it kind of introduces you to the next portion, which is the payroll section, right? So you need, if you are using QuickBooks features to log in or keep track of your timesheets for your employees, then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to pay them. Okay, so by going here, this is one way, is on the home page. You could definitely do it through the employee center, which we'll talk about tomorrow. Okay, or you can go up to the employees menu and be able to enter time this way as well. Okay, so again, I'm already going to do it right here on my home page. I'm going to do a weekly timesheet. Now, in your book, it's if you can read it, I applaud you. If you can't read it, that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and do this exercise for you, okay? So, now, it is very tiny, but don't worry, I have this already down. So first off, I need to figure out whose timesheet am I going to be working on today. Today, I'm going to be working on Mike Mizuki. So he is actually an employee. Now, when I type in any name in here, right? So for timesheets, right? Who is going to appear? It could be almost anybody. Now, of course, you're not supposed to be keeping track of your vendors, right? You want to keep track of your employees, right? That's a better use to use the timesheet. But for any instances where you have a vendor, so a 1099 worker, this is also where they can fall and do their timesheets as well. So again, remember, a vendor doesn't necessarily have to be just a supplier. They could be your 1099 contract people who work for you but are not on the payroll. Okay? So in this case, right, I already know Mike is an employee. It says so right here. Mike Mizuki, okay? And then now I need to figure out what the time is I'm going to be paying them. Now in this case, they said January 2021. But in this case, the dates is relative, right? This is going to look on an actual real calendar, so you can't fake the dates here. But in this case, I'm just going to choose a week in January. So I'm going to say the week of the 4th, okay? all the way to January 10th. Okay, so that's the week I'm looking at. Now in this case, I have to enter in specific specific items that Mike has done. So the very first thing I want to make sure is that, well, what I know about the timesheet is that for Mike, um, he can only do so much, right? But this is also where we can also log in the hours that he worked just in general at the job. He didn't have to necessarily do a photo shoot or anything like that, right? This is his timesheet that he can do. So in this case, right, we're going to be logging in that he is an hourly regular worker. So that will be the pay rate, right? Hourly regular. So he works for me on a wage, an hourly wage. Okay? And this first item I'm going to list is going to be a staff meeting. Okay? So that's what the note is. It is a staff meeting. Okay? So that's what he did, the very first item here. And let's see, how many hours did he do the staff meeting? He did the staff meeting for, let's see, staff meeting and professional planning. On Monday, he did 5 hours. So Monday, he did 5 hours. So again, maybe he did the staff meeting to prepare for himself for the week of all the things that he has to do, all the different photo shoots that he has to do, right? He has to go here, he has to go there, what equipment does he need, so on and so forth, right? So that's what he did for the first time. For Monday, he did 5 hours. Now notice this. This is going to pop up here, right? It's saying that this is being billed. This is being billed, but you don't have anybody assigned to it. I'm going to click OK. Now, this is Mike working for the company. Can he bill the company to pay him? No. He can't bill the company because the company already contracted with him saying he's already an employee. So he's going to get paid no matter what. He doesn't need to bill the company to get paid. So in this instance, right, I have to uncheck mark this. Okay? I have to uncheck mark it. So then, what's the next thing he did? Okay? Next thing he did was he did an Anderson wedding photo shoot. Okay, indoor photo session is a wedding photo shoot, and he did 2 hours on Tuesday. Okay, and he made it billable. Okay, so customer job is going to be Anderson wedding. Okay, what did he do? He did an indoor photo session. He's going to get paid out. Oh, I'm on the wrong line. So I don't get that. Okay, so the next one, sorry. Anderson wedding. Indoor photo session. Okay, he gets paid hourly regular. What was this? It was a wedding photo shoot. Okay, and he did 2 hours on Tuesday. Okay. Next, he's going to do is Miss Maria Cruz. He did a job for Miss Maria Cruz, an outdoor photo session. Maria Cruz, again, for her branch opening, he did an outdoor photo session for her. Okay, he's going to get paid hourly regular, and this is site shoot. Okay, and what was his hours that he did for Miss Maria? He did 6 hours on Tuesday, 3 hours on Wednesday, and 6 hours on Thursday. Okay? So Tuesday he did 6 hours. Wednesday, he did 3 hours, and Thursday he did 6 hours. Okay? And it's billable. That means when I bill Miss Maria Cruz, she's going to get tagged with this time. Okay? Last person that is on this list is going to be Bob Mason. He also did an outdoor photo session. He is also. We are also going to be charging hourly regular. This is also another site shoot. Okay, and then let's see how many hours did he work for Mr. Bob Mason. Okay, he did Monday 3 hours. Okay, he did Wednesday for 5 hours. Okay. He did Thursday for 2 hours, and then he did Friday 8 hours. So in this case, right, we already know that Mr. Mike Mizuki is going to be a full-time employee, right? He works on average 40 hours a week. So here we could take a look. Monday, he already completed his 8 hours. Tuesday, completed his 8 hours. Wednesday, completed his 8 hours. Thursday, 8. Friday, 8. So in this case, in grand total, he earned 40 hours. So again, 3 of them are billable. So we're going to pass those bills along to Miss Maria Cruz, Anderson Wedding, and Bob Mason. While the first one for the first 5 hours, he did a staff meeting. You can't bill the company for that. So that's why that's one of the options that you don't need to select. Yes.
When it becomes 15 hours. 2, 3, 9. Oh, sorry. Sorry.
No worries. Okay. So here, right, we already did all 40 hours, right? So for his timesheet right here, for the week of January 4th all the way to the 10th. So everything looks good, so I can go ahead and save and close, right? All the people that I want to be billed are billed. Save and close. Now, for any reason that Mike wants to print this, his timesheet for you, right? So you can sign it off or whatever, right? If you're the boss, wants to go over with you just to ensure that he went over everything that he went over, right? You can go to print forms, and then of course you're gonna hit timesheets, right? And you're gonna find the date that the timesheet was made. So again, it was made in January 4th. Okay, and there it is, right? And of course, I can also preview that. So this is what his timesheet will look like. Exactly what your screen looks like, except on a piece of paper. Okay, has all the jobs that he did. What did he do? He's paid hourly. What was the memo on that? How many hours did he do per day? All right, and the total hours is 40. Right, straightforward. Very, very generic timesheet. Okay. All right, so I'm going to cancel that. So then now that I finally have billed, or in this case, insert all the times that Mike has worked, right? We can go ahead and forward the bill to Miss Maria Cruz. Once again, we have some items that are selected here. Boom. If I go on time, I got 3 things billed to Miss Maria Cruz. I got Mike to do all these hours, right? I had 3 hours here, 6 hours there, 6 hours. So remember, 6 hours on Tuesday, 3 hours on Wednesday, 6 hours on Thursday. So in this case, I can select all of these. And again, there's, in this case, right, he's obviously going to get paid more than this, right? Or less, or not this. He's going to get paid an hourly rate, but it's not going to be for the $95. Okay, but in this case, this guarantees that when Miss Maria Cruz does pay for this bill, that means that portion of the money is going to go to Mike because he did the job. Okay, so there you go. All right. Now, if you are the kind of company who's like, well, you're in charge of your customer, so if you complete the job, you just send me the invoice and I'll pay you based on the job you completed. Or for most people, right? You can also say this: oh, you work based off whoever your clientele is. So if you did this job and you racked up this many hours, have them pay you. Then that's what you can do as well. So that's mostly what this does for you, is if you have that type of business model where you're not going to pay the employee, you're going to have the customers pay for the employee for their time, then this is what you do. Okay? Everything looks good, right? Again, I'm not going to fill everything in just because, we're a little short on time here, but that's what you do when you have time and it's billable to a customer, right? It's on that section and it tells you right here how many hours did that person complete for you, and here it is. Okay, save and close. She went over her credit limit. That's fine. Okay, now I mentioned to you guys, right, what happens when you want to rebuild them for that, for instance, right, you want to rebuild them. You can go back to so in this case, I'm going to go back, I'm going to try to rebuild them for the time that Mike has completed for Miss Maria Cruz. Okay, so again, we did this January of last year. Okay, so what happens here is, because I billed them, right, I can uncheck this and then recheck it again. I hit the wrong one. Okay, so I'm going to uncheck this and then rebuild them again. So right here, you see this dash right here? You're going to okay, has already been billed, right? Do you want to make it rebillable again? Yes. So make sure that you select that. All right, we got to so that's what it was. I kept doing Anderson Winning. So there we go. I did Maria Cruz one more time. So once I go ahead and save and close, so right, it gave you that window saying you already billed Miss Maria Cruz. You can make it rebillable again and watch this. So then if I go ahead and try to rebuild Maria one more time, it's going to show me that that she has one more time with us, and there it is. Okay, so that's what you can do too. So if for any reason you either forget, like we did earlier, right? I showed you that you can choose to bill somebody or not. You can add the billable anytime. And this is also one where if you already billed this person, you can rebill them again. Okay? Any questions here? No questions? Yes.
How would I, instead of showing all the detail on the invoice to the customer, we want to hide it. I know there's a way to make that options, but if we want to switch after we already made the invoice, do you know how to not show the details?
Yeah. So when you're in that so we do Maria Cruz one more time, right? Okay, and okay, so we have this, right? Down here it says print out selected items and cost in one invoice line.
Yeah.
Okay, I have to select that, okay? And I click OK. Now it's going to show me this, right? That it's a reimbursable group, okay?
Yes.
And if I go ahead and print preview this, right?
Yes.
It shows me all these things, right? But because I clicked on that and I do a print preview and click OK, it's not going to show me that. It's only going to show me that I have just a reimbursable thing. All that stuff isn't mentioned.
Okay. So we have to go back to the invoice we already made and then we make that adjustment. If we
Yes.
forgot to click that. Okay.
Yes, you do. So you would have to, yeah. Because that was your question, right? Yes, you
Yeah.
would have to select that, or you can just redo the invoice,
Okay.
okay? And then make sure you select that option so it does hide all that information.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, so that's that there. So, let's see. Let's stop here for now, and then we'll go on break real quick, and then we'll finish up the rest of chapter 9 when we come back from the break. Okay.